Folks, it's Wednesday. You know what time that is. It is time for another episode with Cruzin with the Coaches, a conversation with Julie and Lee. So folks, it's warming up, and you know we've talked about it before, but this time we go in depth about a fitness journey, what it should be, what it can look like for you, and we talk about some do's and don'ts for those who are over 50 on their fitness journey. All those things coming up after the break.
Our priority at Blue Monarch Communications is building your confidence as an effective presenter. Whether you're preparing for a formal presentation, a keynote address, an interview, or presenting an idea or concept to your team or your clients, we are here to ensure that you are poised to effectively communicate your content while engaging and connecting with your audience. Let our team help you shine.
Hey folks, this is Lee Grigsby here, health and life coach and founder of Live All Good Coaching. I'll be on the air with Podcast Business News Network, talking about the various things around health and wellness and mental health. Also talking about how mindset is critical to achieving the goals that you set for yourself. You can reach me at liveallgood44@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, liveallgood.com, and fill out the contact form and reach me there. Once again, that's liveallgood.com. Go to the About section, fill out the contact form, or you can reach me at liveallgood44@gmail.com. Hey folks, welcome back from the short break. You are here on another Wednesday with your favorite podcast and your favorite hosts, Cruzin with the Coaches, a conversation with Julie and Lee. I am here with my best co-hosts of Cruzin with the Coaches. I guess you're the only co-host.
So. I was going to say, yeah. So yeah, I'll accept that.
I'll cool. How are you doing, Julie?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey folks, we hope, the warm weather starting to come around in most areas. If you live in an area that has cold weather, hopefully it's starting to warm up a bit. I think we want to jump into a topic about, not just exercise, but a fitness journey, right? Because when you start talking about fitness journeys, that kind of makes it turn into a lifestyle. And that's really what we want to tell you guys about. Like it's a lifestyle. When you start training for something specific, or, I don't know, there's just certain things, but if it's a fitness journey, it kind of goes into a lifestyle. And so that's a good thing to think about. So Julie, I know that you are a fit person. You have a fitness journey. And I try to be fit myself. We are also middle-aged folks here.
Yes.
So we're closing in on, we're closer to 50 than not. Okay. No, folks, we're not 50. I'm just saying we're closer to it than we're not. But I came across an article, a couple articles. One is about just what your fitness journey should not be, right? The other one is what your fitness journey, or what you should stop doing on your fitness journey after the age of 50, like what you should not do, right? So, we want to dive into some of those things for a little bit, just because, okay, we can resonate with the folks who are after 50. we got you. And it's also important, though, just talking about the things that your fitness journey should not be. Right.
Mhm.
So before I jump into these articles or what they've said, give us, if you can, Julie, like what's one thing that you've learned on your fitness journey so far?
One thing that I have learned,
Mm-hmm.
um, I never really realized like how important hydration actually is. Like
Mm.
my body will tell me right away when it
Mm-hmm.
is not filling up to par. And I will literally think to myself, oh my gosh, I haven't had water yet. And it's like
Yeah.
it can
Yeah.
get as far as like 10 o'clock in the morning, and
Mm-hmm.
that's well
Mm-hmm.
into my day, but I've only had coffee. And it's just kind of like,
Mm.
yeah, my body's telling me, we
Like it's
need some
time to,
yeah, we need some hydration, dude. Because
yeah.
usually it's I'll wake up and have water, then
Mm-hmm.
I have
Mm-hmm.
coffee, and then I have water. But if I
Yep.
miss that, I know the
It
second
lets
I
you
miss
know.
it.
That
Mm-hmm.
well, that's awesome because like part of that fitness journey is really being in tune with your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And understanding the signals and interpreting, what you need. And
Right.
and I think that's what's important, like about the one article, what you should stop doing after the age of 50 on your fitness
Mm-hmm.
journey. But before we dive into that one, we'll save that for after the break.
Okay.
We'll let the younger folks go at the break. I'm kidding. We want the younger folks to listen to. But um yeah. So well, I guess before we dive into the article, I'll share about what I think I've learned. Um I think I've learned that one thing does not fit everybody in terms of fitness, right?
Okay.
So what works for me, like I'm a gym rat. Like that's home for me. That's where I love to be. Although I've done other things, right? Like yes,
Mhm.
I ride the bike and run and triathlons and but being in the gym is like, man, that's what works. But it's okay if that doesn't work for you or someone else, right?
Right.
Like find the thing that does work for you
Right.
because then you'll want to do it. And
Right.
even if you get off track or you are away from it for a while, you'll get back to it because you love it.
Right.
So I
Right.
think that's pretty important that I've learned that just one thing doesn't fit everybody.
And it's interesting that you say that because there is a page that I'm involved. It's a walking,
Hmm.
like just
Okay,
we
yeah, like a
just cheer
walking
each
group.
other
Yeah,
on, making sure that we're getting our steps and all that kind of good jazz.
sure.
And it's so interesting for the newcomers who
Hmm.
are so frustrated, like I'm walking this many steps and I'm doing this and I'm not seeing the weight coming off or whatever.
Hmm.
And I'm always quick to chime in and say, well, it's just kind of like a treadmill. When you go on the treadmill and it's telling you this is fat burning, this is whatever, as you
Sure.
increase, it's like
Hmm.
you have to walk to what is your capacity. Like
Mm.
just
Yeah.
because someone else is doing 10,000 steps and what have you,
Hmm.
hey, maybe 5,000 steps is where you're at. And
Yeah.
and then you just keep taking it further, taking it further, taking it further. And it's just
Hmm.
interesting how when the newcomers come, like they want to just, the challenge is getting all those steps in and they think that all of a sudden everything is just going to start melting off. And it's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
well, no, you have to work it gradually. But
Hmm.
like at the same time, you're never gonna get on the same level as someone else. You know what I mean?
Because you're already at a different starting point,
Yeah, your
and
journey is going to be
everybody's
different.
exactly everybody's journey is different, and
Yeah,
no pun intended, but everyone's body is
is
different.
different.
So, like
Exactly.
you said, the 5,000 steps might be for one person, 10,000, maybe someone has to get to 20,000
Mm-hmm.
until their body's like, oh, okay, I know what I'm supposed to do with this. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, one thing does not fit everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good. And you know what? That I'm gonna piggyback off of that. That brings
Okay.
another point where it's easy to get frustrated when you first start,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like anything else with practice and with time and consistency.
Correct.
That's when you start to see results.
Right.
So just at that point when you're ready to give up or you're frustrated because you're not seeing results, I think that's why having some type of community, like you said, you're in the walking group. I'm in countless communities where, chat groups and this and that, right? But
Mhm.
that's important too, because that's also support,
Right. Right.
that can help you overcome some of those frustrating barriers that we will then have you starting and stopping with, and there's
Exactly.
no consistency, you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I think I can just relate to those people just because I remember starting and thinking, well, I did my 10,000 steps today. Why haven't I lost a pound? And it's just kind of like, wait a minute, and then I realized, well, obviously I'm still doing what I'm doing, but I was making
Mhm.
it was too time consuming. Like to get 10,000 steps
There's a
when I
lot.
work in a sedentary job
Sure.
is like
Sure.
almost impossible. So it
Mhm.
was just kind of like, okay, like where's the compromise? So then I'm realizing, okay, if I'm exercising and getting within this much of active minutes, then this
Mhm.
is, like, so then I had to like psych my mind out and just basically say, okay, Joel, it doesn't have to be 70,000 steps a week. If
Right.
let's say it's going to be 50,000, but as
Mhm.
long as you have 150 minutes of active minutes, then you're straight, so
Mm.
just keep in that mindset. Like now I'm like, I can go anywhere from 300 to 400 active minutes because
Mhm.
I'm like, literally my body is almost like addicted to it. Like my
'Cause
kids are like, what the
no,
hell,
you're
mom?
and you're so right. Like and those are the results we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times people are looking for tangible results,
Mhm.
but it's hard to quantify what it feels like.
Right.
But once you are consistent with it, that's when your body gets acclimated to it and wants to continue to be active. Yes.
Right. Right.
Active is the key, man. Like again, it could be anything, and it goes the same way for the opposite. The less active you are, that's
Mhm.
what you'll begin to adopt. And
Right.
so that's why consistency is good in being active. So, folks, we're sitting here talking about what we do. It's okay if you're like, yeah, well, Julie, I can't walk 10,000 steps. I can't go to the gym and be there for an hour. We're not telling you to do that, right?
Right.
But
Right.
if you start your fitness journey with, you know what, I'm going to intentionally get up, and maybe all you can do is walk. I don't know if you live in a city block. If you got a long driveway, you walk from the house to the mailbox and back. Like
Mm.
those are the intentional things that we're
Right.
talking about. I, I think we've mentioned some things like this before, but just to help folks reiterate, especially because it's getting warmer, you know, now's a great time to get a little bit more motivated to be active, you know.
Right.
E- Even if I remember the days when I lived in the suburbs and had to drive to like a trail to walk.
Yeah, still I'm there. I'm still
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I know you feel my pain. I know you feel my pain.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing, right? You've made a choice. It's
Right.
intentional.
Right.
And that's the cool thing about it. Now, I'm lucky enough to live in a city that's pretty walkable. It's bikeable all over the place. So I don't have to drive out of the city to go to these places. But folks, like wherever you are, you can make it happen. You know what I
Right.
mean? You can make it
Right.
happen.
And I mean, to also say, even though like right now, like I told you, I exercise every single day. The
Sure.
fact of the matter is it's warmer outside. So
Mhm.
I'll do the treadmill every morning. And if it's
Mhm.
really, really nice, I'll walk in the evening, but outside.
Mhm.
But like also understanding like, okay, this is getting a little boring or what have you. And then thinking to myself, you know what? I've been talking about buying a bike for I don't know how long. And so
Ooh,
finally I said, this is the summer. I'm going to do it. I'm buying a bike. I'm buying myself a bike.
all
But
right.
again, I would have never thought, 4 years ago that hitting
Mhm.
400 active minutes was even possible,
Or a
and
thing,
now,
right?
yeah, or even a thing. I was like, before I
Yeah.
was happy if I got up and, hit the 150 mark for a week.
Right. Right.
So
I love
I
it.
don't
Well,
know. Yeah.
folks, we're going to start a countdown to Bike Watch. Julie's Bike Watch 2021. Be there
Yes.
when it
Oh my
happens.
God. I have to. I have to. I got the map. So now I can see all the
that's awesome.
routes.
Then what I would definitely love to do is because you've got a co-host here who has bought like 3 bikes and has biked through triathlons on it. So we should definitely have a series from Cruising with the Coaches for your bike shopping. I'm just saying, people are invested. People are invested.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Maybe
that was the one thing people said was like, you have to go to a bike shop. It can't be just a regular like Dick's or Dunham's or anything like that. And I was like, yeah, I got it. I got it. It's got to be a real investment. And I'm like, okay, I got it. So
I bought my first new bike in 2018.
Okay.
And it was $800.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, that's cheap.
Yeah, no, but still for a first bike, that's not,
for first bike.
For a first bike, that's not cheap.
It wasn't. And it was like the previous year's model.
Okay.
But yeah, hey folks, you heard it here first. You heard it. We are going to be on Bike Watch 2021. Or snap. I mean 2022.
Oh my God, yeah. I didn't even catch that. Yeah. I didn't even catch that.
I think I said that before too, didn't I?
Yeah, you probably did.
Oh, well, 2022, folks. Julie's Bike Watch 2022. So you know what? I mean, that I love it. So why don't I'm gonna jump into this article that I saw on Yahoo about the 5 things that your fitness journey should not be. Okay. So one of the first thing that it mentions is it should not be restrictive, right? And by restrictive, it means you should not pigeonhole yourself into one type of exercise. So that's kind of what we've been saying. Like you are walking. That's one thing that you do, but you love it. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure you've done other things. You're talking about getting a bike, all of that.
I talked about and I lift in between.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, so I talk about going to the gym. I run. I try to walk. Even if I'm not tracking it, on a day where I have little things to do, I'll run my errands locally by walking. You see what I'm saying? That's being active. Mm-hmm. So don't be restrictive with what you want to do, right? I love this quote in here. Well, it's not quite a quote, but it says, you can be a weightlifter and an endurance athlete. If running means you have time to catch up with a friend and talk about life in a way that feeds your soul, and if weightlifting is a place for reflection and solitude, there should be room for both of those.
Nice.
So I was like, man, that's kind of cool. Don't restrict yourself. The second one that you should not do is be comfortable. And if folks are like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? Well, if you listen to our last episode, no, it was not about fitness, but we were talking about be comfortable with being uncomfortable, right? Mm-hmm. So in the fitness sense, once your body gets comfortable doing something, it plateaus. Okay. So you kind of got to change up your routines just so that the body, you keep it guessing, you don't get stuck doing one thing, because that's also how injuries can happen too. Mm-hmm. If you do the same repetitive motion over and over and over without strengthening any of those ligaments, tendons, whatever the body part is, that is something for sure. It also helps your mind, I think. It challenges you a little bit. The third thing, this is actually goes to your point about the beginners in your walking group. Mm-hmm. The third thing that your fitness journey should not be is unrealistic or not sustainable.
Right.
So that's you really talk to that with the beginners, right? They want to jump right in and get their 10,000 steps and wait, this isn't working,
Right. It's been 6 months. I'm not 6 sizes smaller. Like,
no, that's unrealistic.
Did you change your diet? Are you still eat? It's like, Wait a
10,000
minute.
steps is cool, but when you're eating the Ben and Jerry's while you're walking,
Right,
maybe
right.
a little counterproductive.
While you're walking and talking on the phone.
I mean, it can be done, but
It can.
don't expect the results you're looking for.
Right.
So
right.
be realistic with what you're looking for. I think another realistic thing is be realistic with the time that you have, right? A lot of people say they're too busy or whatever it is. Okay, well, it's okay to put yourself first to make time for yourself,
And I will say that is probably where a lot with the silver lining with COVID was the fact that being able to work from home and understanding that, hey, this 8 hours is always blocked for work. But if I would go and make sure like, okay, I want to be walking by 2:30, 3 o'clock and going out, and then I would finish my day for work in the evening, like whatever I could push for the evening, whatever, typing up or writing up or anything like that, or emails or anything like that, I would do that later in the evening. So just like you said, it's just understanding the restrictions and how you can possibly work around them. So you're not, hindering yourself from being able to start a good habit.
Yeah, absolutely. No, well said. Being able to work around that, and make time when it fits in,
Right.
Number 4, it's again talking about fitness journeys, things it should not be. It should not be unenjoyable. Okay. I think we've talked about that, ad nauseum, right? If you don't enjoy it, you're probably not going to do it.
Right.
And if you feel like it's a hassle, or if you feel like I have to go, you're going to, eventually it won't be sustainable. You won't be able to be consistent. So yeah, it has to be enjoyable. So, some people take dance classes, you know what I mean? Like, and I'll share something after this last tip. The last thing that this article says is your fitness journey should not be, is it should not leave you sore all the time. Okay. So I'll share this because, again, I said that, the gym is my home, right? That's where I feel really good. These last 2 tips, right? It shouldn't leave you sore all the time, and it should not be unenjoyable. There are times over the last few months where I've had to I've redone my schedule, and I was like, you know what? There's no way that I can have all these meetings and fit my gym time in and do this and do that. So I was like, I've got to get up earlier. Okay.
Right.
Now, sometimes that's a little bit more difficult if I'm working late at night and then trying to get up at 5 a.m. So I actually listened to my body, and I was like, well, you know what? No, I need to sleep this time. So I will figure out a different routine that won't be the gym, but I can still do and get my sleep. You see?
Right.
That way I'm still enjoying going to the gym, still enjoying exercising, but also it's sustainable and I'm not sore. Don't, because I had to do that too. Like, man, I went too hard the other day. I need to do something else and not the gym today, like you have to do those things. So, yeah. So Julie, why don't we take a quick break? Let everybody kind of marinate over those 5 tips of what your fitness journey should not be. And when we come back, we will run through what you should not do after the age of 50.
Okay.
All right, folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Our priority at Blue Monarch Communications is building your confidence as an effective presenter. Whether you're preparing for a formal presentation, a keynote address, an interview, or presenting an idea or concept to your team or your clients, we are here to ensure that you are poised to effectively communicate your content while engaging and connecting with your audience. Let our team help you shine.
Hey folks, this is Lee Grigsby here, health and life coach and founder of Live All Good Coaching. I'll be on the air with Podcast Business News Network, talking about the various things around health and wellness and mental health. Also talking about how mindset is critical to achieving the goals that you set for yourself. You can reach me at liveallgood44@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, liveallgood.com, and fill out the contact form and reach me there. Once again, that's liveallgood.com. Go to the About section, fill out the contact form, or you can reach me at liveallgood44@gmail.com. Hey folks, welcome back from the break. We hope you enjoyed like the first in the first segment, the tips about what your fitness journey should not be. And we really hope that you were listening to what our fitness journeys have been, right? And what we've learned, because that stuff it's important, but it's also important that your fitness journey fits you. That's the important part. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now, for those of us, not Julie and I, of course, but for our veterans who are 50 or over, found this other article that was really cool, but it was about things that you should not do, right, after 50. Or the title is 5 Bad Fitness Habits You Need to Ditch After 50. Okay. And some of these are like they're pretty important. So the first one is you need to stop doing cardio only. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. I mean, I think we both talked about it as, yes, we do cardio, but we do lifting as well, right?
Right.
That's good, especially for women. That has to do like with the bone density, and weightlifting really increases that. The more, oh my gosh, there's a stat that I used to know, but like every 10 years, your bone density either increases or decreases, right? Based on what your physical activity is.
Okay.
And strength training and weightlifting really helps that. It's less, the bone density is less prevalent in men to decrease, but I think that has to do with like childbirth and stuff like that. For women, it tends to happen. So
Right.
weight training for women is key.
Yeah.
Not just cardio, ladies, not just cardio. The second thing that you should not do or ditch if you're over 50 is following an erratic workout schedule. So I think we talked about this in the first segment, not really with being over 50, but just being consistent, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think consistency is what breeds results. Consistency is what it builds stability in your schedule. You know what to look for. I think that helps mentally too, right? You don't have to think about it. You kind of know what you're going to do next, what's coming. You know what to expect.
And I honestly think too, after that age, it's more or less, like when you're younger, you can just not eat for a week, and just do liquid, but seriously,
True,
and the weight
true.
would just completely come off.
Mhm.
Where, after 50 and you're looking at that dress, or you're purchasing the dress that you can't fit in, you have to definitely be consistent with whatever plan you are going to follow, because the chances of you wearing that dress or the suit or whatever are going to be less likely because your metabolism is completely changed.
Totally. Very, very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a good point in keeping a consistent schedule with working out or exercising.
Right.
Absolutely. This one is a good one. The third thing that you should ditch after the age of 50 is confusing your muscles by switching up your workouts too much. So while in the first segment, we said, you got to vary it up a little bit. keep your body guessing. So yes, you can still vary your workouts, but not frequently, not too frequent. So again, like maybe you have a Mondays is where you go walk.
Mhm.
Tuesdays is where you do weight training. Tuesdays and Thursdays where you weight training. Fridays where you swim. Okay. That's good enough. Excuse me. That's good changing up so your body doesn't do the same thing over and over.
Mhm.
But the next week, keep that consistent, right?
Right.
Don't
Right.
completely do the opposite or do, completely other routines that have nothing to do with what you did the week before.
Right. Right.
I think that's what they're getting at there. Plus, and they mentioned this tip, it's always about form for whatever exercise you're doing, right?
Mhm.
Form is key, not repetitions, not the amount of weight. There's no ego involved here. It's about functional, safe movement. So,
Right.
because it's harder to return from injury when you
I was gonna
start
say, because
doing.
you're gonna hurt yourself real well, real good.
Yeah. Well, speaking of hurting yourself, tip number 4
Okay.
is do not push through pain. Right.
Mm.
So if you're doing something and you get that tweak or you get that something happens, not just a muscle spasm, the knee feels a little wonky, like check that out,
Right.
but whether it's medically checked out or you take a break and then you're good like the next day or two, but don't just push through just because, oh, it's a little ache and pain. Yeah, well, it might be your body telling you something, you know?
Right.
I have to say that like I listened to that too. I was doing something and like my ankle was real tight. So I'm
Mhm.
like, huh, okay, let me do some more stretching and let me not run for like a week. And
Okay.
I didn't overdo it. And then that pain went away. So that pain was telling me you need to pump your brakes,
Mm.
you need to just ease up for a little bit.
And
Which
see, I'm
yeah,
sorry, but I had
go ahead.
shoulder blade pain on my right.
Hmm.
And it was so funny because it was okay, I get regular massages and
Hmm. Which is
I'm
smart.
not I'm not a princess. I'm just saying I take care of my body. But I go get a massage every 6 weeks,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And so then I started seeing a chiropractor in between,
Mm.
and I still had it. It was just like, what is going on? So
Mhm.
then it was my chiropractor who said, you need to start lifting more weight. So
Ah,
what it
okay.
was I had already conditioned myself, and I don't know, but then I did. I added more weight and then I was fine. It was just like, oh, how weird is that?
To add more weight. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I would have never thought
Hmm.
of that. So, but he said it needed more strengthening, and
Got
so
you.
it did,
Which that
and it
makes sense,
did.
and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So here's the next series we're gonna do with Cruising with the Coaches. After Bike Watch 2022, we're gonna go to Julie's Powerlifting 2022.
Yeah, or whatever. There'll be none of that.
No, but that's funny. Talking about your shoulder, right? And then me talking about my ankle, that's the last tip for folks over 50.
Mhm.
You do not want to skip the balance, agility, and mobility work.
Mm.
You don't want to skip those things, right? Literally, you just mentioned that, talking about your
Mhm.
shoulder. You went and got it checked out, and they were like, yeah, no, you got to
Yeah.
do more. You got to
Right.
strengthen it.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. As you get older, you want to be functional. You want to have mobility. You want to enjoy what life you have, right?
Right.
And so in order to do that, you have to do the balancing mobility work. I coach quite a few people on functional mobility. Like I'm not a personal trainer, but I have enough knowledge that functional mobility I can help with that.
Okay.
It's so important, and I'm noticing that myself as I go up the scale of ages. But so yeah, we just I think those were important things to really tell people. Number one, the first segment where we were talking about the 5 tips that your fitness journey should not be, right?
Mhm.
And then once you get over 50, which does not include Julie and I, but once you get
Not yet.
had to say that, but once you get over 50, like, really pay attention to those things. Like, it's mobility. You want to be consistent. You don't want to do cardio only. Strength training is important for sure. So is there any final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with for our fitness journey episode?
I just think, if you are currently inactive, let's just say,
Mhm.
don't try to jump into it right away. Just be kind to yourself and know what you are capable of, whether it's what you are physically capable of, what you have time to do, because I think, if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to walk every day, and then you're only walking twice a week, then it's like, oh, but that's what you have time for. And just like you were saying, just making sure like your schedule will allow you to do what it is that you want to do. Because I'm telling you, I could definitely relate with just knowing what it feels like when you're not exercising, what I mean? And then like, okay, my body wants this. And to get to that point where your body actually wants it, you've just got to be kind in getting to that place. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be like, I want to do this right now.
Yeah.
It comes with time.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah. Great way to end that. It doesn't happen overnight. Right. It does take some time, and give yourself grace with it,
Exactly.
And hey, if you guys are interested, send us a message right in, and maybe we start a series of Julie's Fitness Watch 2023. We got the bike series, we got the powerlifting coming up. So I'm kidding.
Listen to you.
Oh man. Well, you guys, we love being here on Wednesdays with you. We appreciate you listening. It's been another episode of Cruzin with the Coaches. You know where to find us on Google, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, a few other platforms. Until next time, don't forget, start your fitness journey. It's okay right where you're at. We'll talk to you soon.